May is American Stroke Month, and there's no better time than now to remind you all about the warning signs associated with stroke. This is something I'm very passionate about. Here from Virginia Mason Franciscan Health is their stroke program chair, Josh Snavely, and registered nurse, Anna Moore. Welcome to both of you. Thank you.
Thank you.
No,
Yeah.
I'm glad you're here. I told you a story off camera because I ignored the signs of stroke. I wasn't having a stroke. I was very lucky, but they were similar signs. So let's start with the bases. Why do we need to recognize stroke early within that short period?
Yeah, it's extremely important because there's only a limited amount of time we have to actually treat somebody once they've started experiencing stroke symptoms. And time is brain. You know, anywhere between 2 to 4 million neurons die every minute a stroke occurs. So the sooner we can get you treated, the better chance we have of actually reducing some of your disability or even potentially even totally completely reversing whatever symptoms you had.
Yes, and amazing that we have that technology now.
Yeah.
But we do have the technology, so don't mess around. So I want to ask you, Anna, some of the symptoms. It's called Be Fast, and it's an acronym that we can all use if we're feeling like something's wrong, right?
Yeah, Be Fast is a really easy acronym that we use for teaching people in the community what the signs and symptoms of stroke are. The first one, B, is all about balance. Sudden onset is key there.
Okay.
And if you have sudden onset balance issues where you feel like you can't walk straight, you can have sudden onset vision change.
Okay.
So E is for eyes. That could be double vision, blurred vision. It can be in both or one eye.
Okay.
Facial droop is F. So anytime somebody's experiencing facial droop on one side of the face or the other, which
I did.
right, was what you were experiencing.
Yeah.
Arm weakness is A. And I also like to teach people to remember the leg too.
Yeah.
Just limb weakness.
Limb weakness,
right?
okay.
And then S is for anything speech.
Okay.
That says slurred speech there, but really anything speech. If your speech changes, it's garbled, you can't speak, it's slurred speech.
Anything.
Anything.
Call 911.
Yes, call 911 is T. So T is actually good to remember two things. T is for time. It's important to call 911 right away for the reasons we just talked about. But T is also terrible headache. So if you're experiencing a really terrible headache, the worst headache of your life, that is also something that could be a stroke, and we want people to call 911 for that.
Okay, that's serious. So if somebody's having maybe a few of them, not all, I think that sometimes we as people, like, I don't know, we're like, is this really happening? I don't know if this is really happening. What is your advice about that?
Don't hesitate. If there's any concern, any one of those items that Anna discussed, it doesn't have to be multiple. Any one of those is a sign of stroke.
Yeah.
So don't hesitate. Don't wait for the symptoms to maybe go away. That's what we see a lot is people will kind of delay going to the hospital or calling 911 because I slept on my arm wrong, or I just didn't sleep well last night. When in reality they're having a stroke, and because it's painless, oftentimes, these symptoms get dismissed. So never hesitate. Call 911. That's what the paramedics and EMTs are for.
That is so important. And then and a lot of people are hesitant to call 911, right? I mean, I drove myself, which is ridiculous. I mean, I drove very slow on the road because I was like, I don't know what's happening.
Yeah.
But it's important to trust the professionals, right? Because they can find out immediately, right?
Well, yeah, absolutely. The EMS providers out in the Puget Sound area, they're extremely well trained in stroke. We have a unified system of care throughout all of the Western Washington area, where all of our EMTs and paramedics receive training on how to not only recognize stroke, but also identify how severe a stroke may be. So just in case you have an extremely severe stroke, they can take you to a comprehensive stroke center like St. Joseph's, Virginia Mason, one of those facilities that can actually do more advanced stroke treatments than, say, your other hospitals who can still treat you for stroke, but don't have all of the capabilities of a comprehensive center.
Right. That's so good to know. These are so good to know. How can we reduce our risk?
So there's multiple different things, right? And most of us know what we should be doing. It's a matter of making it part of our routine. Eating healthy, not eating too many foods that are deep fried, high fatty foods, eating plenty of fresh vegetables and fruits, and staying physically active, going out for a walk, you know, especially with the weather changing now. You know, we have such beautiful scenery in our area. Go and enjoy the Northwest and get out there and stay active. Plus, you know, the easy stuff. If you're smoking, drinking, drug use, the obvious things, those obviously have to stop.
Those are going to have to stop, or at least try to get some help or slow it down.
Exactly.
Anna, what about the resources and support for those who have had a stroke? What's available for stroke survivors and their families?
Yeah, that's a great question. Yeah, we have stroke support groups in our area for family and people who have survived a stroke. There's also different inpatient rehab facilities in our area that are really great to help people get back their mobility if they have suffered a stroke. And we also, on our website, vmfh.org/stroke, you can access all types of resources, education, and it will link you to those support groups or any other information somebody might be seeking.
Bless you all. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having this conversation with me. It is important. I appreciate you all. And by the way, for more information on what we discussed today and to get in contact with Virginia Mason Franciscan Health, just visit the website on your screen.
This portion of New Day Northwest is sponsored by Virginia Mason Franciscan Health.